Part 3, we're going to do some drills to improve your wrist hinge. We're absolutely sure the shoulders turn through 90. We're equally sure that the forearms rotate through 90. If I turn sideways to you and let the club fall into my hand, you're going to see that my wrist hinge again is 90 degrees. If my thumb is long, however, I may go more than 90. I'm hoping that the thumb is neutral and the arm is hanging. So the wrist hinges to 90 degrees. So again, this is a source of power and a source of accuracy. If I was using my hammer on a fence post, my wrist would be helpful. The wrist itself is a source of power, as were the shoulders and as were the forearms. The wrists, by speeding up. Okay, here's my hammer on a fence post, I'm in plane. If I hinge my wrists, I'm quicker in the same plane. I'm just as accurate. There's nothing to fear from wrist hinge. Wrist hinge is quicker and it's more accurate. So, what sort of drills can you do for the wrists? Well, swinging with one arm only is good. Swing to the top, check that you've got 90. Release, finish, 90. And do a few of those. Hinge, rehinge. Hinge, rehinge. Then do it with the right hand only. Hinge to 90, rehinge to 90. Hinge to 90, rehinge to 90. Then you can put those two hands together, form an orthodox grip. Blend, check it 90, that's stiff, that's 90. 90 wrist, swish, and finish 90 wrist again. You mix the two. Now the other great drill to make the wrist work is to hit shots with your knees together. So let me show you that. Here's my 6-iron, then my normal stance, then my ankles and my knees touch. It's like holding a coin between my knees. My knees can move, but they mustn't separate. If I hit a shot from here, my wrists are obliged to hinge. If I turn with no wrist hinge, the weight of the club is enough to make me topple sideways. When you mix wrist hinge to shoulder turn, you keep your balance and your hand speed is quicker. So here we go. Hinge. And most of the time, you only lose about a club in distance between a shot with your feet a normal distance apart and shots with knees together. Knees together is a wonderful drill. It promotes good wrist hinge, form rotation, it creates balance, it actually improves your footwork. All of those things are good for your game. Let me just show that again. Normal routine. Bring the knees, toes, ankles together as tightly as possible and then improvise. Shoulder and wrist. Hinge and release. You can hear from the sound of the shot, I hit it sweetly. So, let's think of the golf swing as 3 catapults. The shoulder is like the big catapult. I've got 2 half-size catapults. I hold all 3 in one hand and I stretch them simultaneously. That's what you're doing with the golf swing. You're stretching 3 catapults simultaneously. You're stretching your shoulders, your forearms and your wrists, and you're mixing them into one blended movement. If you're flat, you'll be rolling on wristy. If you're upright, you'll be wristing on rolly. But when your shoulder hits the optimum biomechanical plane, you know that all 3 catapults are working fully. And the one thing I want to assure you is this, that in creating power correctly, you don't lose accuracy, you gain it. Your swing has to become more economical and more efficient to hit the ball a long way. You might think the further you hit it, the wider it goes. But I know from experience that the better you hit it, the tighter your grouping becomes. You mustn't be afraid of power in the golf swing. You can't trade power for accuracy. If you slow your swing down, you won't go as far in the trees. That's all that changes. Your most powerful swing should be your most accurate swing.